Hey guys, Mike here from Lunch Money Comics. It's New Year's Day, and I'm back in Plainville, Connecticut at a special CliffsCon. Let's go inside and find something good. So some people have asked me to do a voiceover explaining which books I'm buying and which ones I'm passing on, so here it goes. These slabs here were on a discounted table. Most of the books were half off, but not these ones. And you can see there was some pretty awesome books in there, first Moon Knight, first Elektra. But the prices were a little high and I couldn't get that much of a discount. Still pretty cool. This book, however, I've wanted for a real long time. I thought it was a beautiful presenting book, but again, slab book, a little expensive. Decided to pass on it. So this is one of the best presenting ASM 50s I've ever seen. I mean, look at the colors on it, guys. Probably could have got it for $700, which I think is a pretty fair price, but I wasn't looking to spend that sort of money. So this vendor had a small table. He had mostly slab books, probably a couple dozen or so, but he had one box of books from the late 80s, early 90s. Some pretty good ones. You see the Death of Jason Todd, Robin there, Darkhawk #1. I did look at this Venom one. I just can't justify any amount of money for these Chrome 90s books, guys. Just a little too real for me. A lot of these books I did have, but they were all in excellent condition. I was very impressed by, the high condition of these books. Sleepwalker 1, thought about it. But the book you'll see in a second coming up was Marvel Presents 72, the first appearance of Weapon X Wolverine. There it is. It was in beautiful shape. I really thought about it, but ultimately ended up passing. So this vendor had some pretty expensive wall books, but all of their back issues were mostly 50% off, except for this one. This is First Spectre in a solo series, and it was not half off. Otherwise, I probably would have got it. I always look at Daredevil and, trying to fill in my Silver Age Daredevil. And most of these, were pretty cool, but once again, they weren't all 50% off. They were all like 25% off. You see max discount there. Pretty cool, but ultimately not in the condition I really wanted for my collection. And here I am going through the Avengers books. I have several books that I'm specifically looking for. Most of them were not here, but you'll see one pop up in a second. There it is, 196, first appearance of Taskmaster. You can see this is a very low grade book. They were asking $40 for it, but you can see there was all sorts of problems. I don't even know what that was. I love me my Doctor Strange, and this next book was very cool. Number 173 with Dormammu on the cover. I really liked it, ultimately decided to pass. Same thing with the next book, Young Avengers #1, pretty high grade, but I don't collect moderns that much, and it was a little high for me. Okay guys, I got a big old stack of books, and I met some people who actually watched the channel, so that was pretty cool. Let's go home and I'll show you guys what I got. So there you go, guys. That was CliffsCon in Plainville, Connecticut. They have a comic book show on the last Sunday of every single month. The exception, of course, was December of 2022 because the last Sunday of December was Christmas. So they had it on New Year's Day, and it was a pretty great show. Hey, if you're in Southern New England or Southern New York and you want to check it out, I'll make sure to put a link down in my description to their Facebook page. And hey, if you go, maybe you'll see me there. So in a recent video, I was at a comic book sale, and I mentioned I was trying to save my money for an upcoming comic book show. It was this show, and the reason was the last time I went there, I ended up dropping some serious lunch money on some pretty big books. I thought the same thing might happen this time, but it didn't. Although there was a lot of stuff I really liked, I just couldn't pull the trigger on anything big. Now, I still got a pretty big stack of comic books, but I only spent $75. Not only that, half the books I got, I already own. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, and I'll explain why in a second. Before I show you what I got, if you like this sort of stuff, hit the like button, leave me a comment, feel free to subscribe, follow me on Instagram. Let's see what I got. So you know me, guys, I have to start with my X-Men. I feel bad, I feel like recent uploads, I've showed a lot of X-Men books, but the reason is I'm really digging into my Chris Claremont runs. So for those of you who don't love the X-Men, you're gonna have to suffer through some more, but there's some pretty cool covers coming up anyways. I also want to point out, people have asked me in the past, are comic book shows and conventions overpriced? Not necessarily, especially the smaller ones. you know, a lot of times these smaller cons, you know, they're just really guys, you know, it's their hobby, it's their side business, and you can get some really great deals. Case in point, everything I'm about to show you, I got for $20. This vendor, right when you walked in, everything was half price, and not only that, but they were already cheap to begin with. So pretty good stack of comic books. You can find some deals, guys, especially at these smaller cons. So here we go. Uncanny X-Men number 145. This is from 1981. Iconic Dave Cockrum cover showing Dr. Doom victorious over the X-Men. Very cool story anyways. It's Dr. Doom and Arcade actually fighting the X-Men. So pretty neat. You can see right there the sticker price was $4. So I got it for $2. What a deal, right? Here's another one. Number 153, another Dave Cockrum cover. This one with, you know, Kitty Pryde here. I think this is kind of like a joke issue. And this one's listed at $5, so $2.50. Great deal there. I think this one actually is listed as a key. This is number 156, and this shows the origin of Corsair, who is Scott and Alex Summers' father. It's also the first appearance of the Akanti, which are basically like alien space whales. You know that old chestnut. So pretty cool right there. This is a book I've showed on the channel multiple times in the past. This is number 160. This is the first appearance of Ilyana Rasputin, aka Magic. Magic, I think, is a very cool character, not only a prominent X-Man, but huge, obviously, in New Mutants. And I'm always finding this book and looking for a better copy all the time. But the biggest reason I got this one is it was listed at $4. So $2 for a first appearance of an X-Man. Heck yeah, all day. Pretty cool. Next one, again, just need it for my run. This is number 177. Just a cool Wolverine cover. Again, $3, $1.50. Pretty good deal. Here's another first appearance of an X-Man. This is number 184, and this is the first appearance of Forge. I've spoken about Forge on my channel in the past, and also specifically this book. I think Forge is a very cool X-Man. I feel like he's very underutilized, or at least he hasn't been used very often since the 80s when he was pretty big. But he's a cool character. He has the mutant ability to invent anything, and he also dabbles in magic. He has some sort of like shaman abilities because of his Native American heritage, but he doesn't use it, and I'll tell you why in a book in a second. But I just really like Forge, and hey, listen guys, this was $2, so I got it for $1. So $1 for a first appearance of a cool X-Man. Heck yeah. Next up, this actually is one that's related to Forge. This is number 188, and this is the first appearance of the Adversary. The Adversary is a Native American like trickster god, like a demon, and Forge actually has a flashback in this book here, going back to the Vietnam War. When he actually used his, you know, powers, his magic powers, to try to save his buddies in his platoon. He accidentally summoned this demon forward, and yep, he vowed after that never to use magic again. So pretty cool comic book right there. And another first appearance of an X-Man. This is number 193, and this is the first appearance of Firestar in continuity. Originally, she was in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. It was a cartoon in the 80s, and they had a comic book tie-in to that, but it wasn't in mainline Marvel continuity. So this is her first appearance in continuity. I always find this book. I always have to buy it because I think Firestar's cool. I remember watching that cartoon as a kid. And again, $3 sticker price. Got it for $1.50. Always, yep. Another book that should look familiar to people who watch my channel. Very recently, I got this book. This is New Mutants number 9, and this is the first appearance of Selene, the Black Queen. Very cool villain, X-Men villain. I've always liked her. And yeah, I got this one for $6. You see 50% off that $12 sticker price, and that's roughly what I got the other one for the other day. And this one's just in better shape. So pretty cool to have this one, even if it's a duplicate. And here we go. Here's another first appearance, but I didn't have this book already. This is New Mutants number 29. It's from 1985, written, of course, by Chris Claremont. Amazing art by Bill Sienkiewicz. I love these Bill Sienkiewicz New Mutants covers, guys. And this is the first appearance of Guido, a.k.a. Strong Guy. So Strong Guy is exactly that. He's a big, strong mutant that can convert, I think, kinetic energy into brute strength. And the kind of running joke in this is that no one could think of a good name for him, like a good superhero code name. So they eventually just call him Strong Guy. What's great about that is that was actually an editorial thing. Like, they had a hard time actually coming up with a name for this character. Eventually, they're just like, he's the Strong Guy. So he's a cool character. Again, he's mostly known for like X Factor, you know, in the 90s is kind of how I think of Strong Guy. But hey, I didn't have this book already, and I'm still filling out my New Mutants run because that's also Chris Claremont. Pretty cool book right there. So like I said, guys, I got all of these for $20. So pretty awesome deal. You never know. That's why you go to the smaller cons, guys. You can always find excellent deals. So evidently 50% off was the theme of the day. A ton of vendors had like 50% off boxes. And just like the last vendor, this is the case here. It's just that this guy had slightly better books, and in fact, I knew there was good stuff in those boxes because it was shoulder to shoulder with people right when I got there, and I kind of had to wait to the end of the time I was there for it to thin out and go through there. But I got a couple of books. Again, these are 50% off. So first up, we have The Mighty Thor, number 411. The claim to fame on this one is that it's the first appearance of the team, the New Warriors, in cameo. So the first appearance of Nova, Namorita, Speedball, Firestar, Marvel Boy, and Night Thrasher as a team. It's also listed as the first cameo appearance of Night Thrasher at all. For those of you who don't know who the New Warriors are, well, I'll hook you up. They were a pretty big team in the 90s, and their very next issue is considered their first full appearance. And you can see them all right there on the cover. You see Night Thrasher. This is considered his first full appearance. He was sort of a bigger deal in the 90s. And you see Firestar right there, who I mentioned a little while ago. I got this book in a back issue back in like the fall. So I was kind of on the lookout for this one here. As you can see, it was listed at $10. So, $20. So I got it for $10. Pretty happy to add a first appearance of a team to my collection for that price. Pretty neat. Oh man, this next one is going to look very familiar to people who watch the show. I talked about really cool books to sort of kickstart a collection. You know, great story, great art, great cover. And this book's amazing. And now that it's on my radar, I see it everywhere. And here it is. This is the Silver Surfer one-shot from 1982, written by Stan Lee, art by John Byrne. Amazing, amazing cover by John Byrne. It sort of looks like almost like a full art cover. You see I got it for $10. And yeah, I said it in the past, like this is a great book to sort of start a collection. I think I'll give this to my son. He loves the Silver Surfer. And you know, it's a great cover. You can see I put the other one up on the wall behind me. So happy to add another one to the household collection. And I think I'll surprise him with this one. Great book. Keep your eyes peeled for this one, guys. It's definitely worth picking up. All right, so this next one is the one I spent the most money on, and everyone who collects comics knows what this is. This is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 1 from 1984, written by Jim Shooter, art by Mike Zeck. And of course, this is number 1 in a 12-issue limited series where all the Marvel good guys and bad guys are whisked into outer space by the Beyonder and forced to fight. And, very seminal book, one of the first big comic book crossovers. I say one of because a lot of times people say this is the first Marvel crossover. They're forgetting about Contest of Champions. I'll talk about that another time, I think. So, yeah, I mean, it was originally created basically to sell toys in the 80s. But, a lot of kind of important things came out of these stories. She-Hulk joins the Fantastic Four. Spider-Man, of course, gets his black suit in number 8. Now, I already own this one. I've owned it for a long time. Why did I pick this one up? A couple of reasons. One, throughout this entire year of, collecting at flea markets and yard sales, I basically picked up an entire other set of Secret Wars. So I had my original set and I basically been filling the other one in really, really cheap. And I filled all of them in except this one. So this is the last book I needed a duplicate of to make a second set. Pretty cool. The other reason is that this one is really high grade. The one I have in my older set was always warped and I couldn't figure out why. And recently I opened it up to see if I could maybe get it pressed and realized there were 4 staples in it. I did not put them there. I took them out and it laid down flat. And there was no reason to put those other 2 staples in. I have no idea why they were there. But yeah, that book isn't in very good shape, so I wanted a nice high-grade one, and this one definitely is high-grade. You see the sticker price there, $40. I got it for $35, which for the grade this is in, I thought it was a pretty good deal. So happy to finish my second set of Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. Pretty cool. Oh man, I saved the absolute best for last. So this is the first issue of a series from the late 80s, published by Marvel. Very coveted, very sought-after series, highly acclaimed. This is Alf number 1 from 1988. Obviously, I'm joking. Not many people care about this book, but of course, Alf was a TV sitcom in the late 80s featuring a Muppet alien, alien life form, ALF. And I remember watching this as a kid. I think I had a stuffed animal of Alf. The reason I got this book was my wife loved Alf as a kid. We talk about it quite often, so I thought if I got this for her, I'd get a good chuckle out of her. I got less of a chuckle and more of an eye roll. Those of you who are married know exactly what I'm talking about. But still, it was a pretty cool thing to pick up. It was in really good shape. It was only $1.50. It was also 50% off. So I just thought it was a pretty funny book to pick up and give it to my wife. So there you go, guys. Alf number 1. Keep your eyes open for it. So there you go, guys. A pretty quick video, but I got a good stack of comic books, and I didn't break the bank buying them. So head on down to those comments and let me know which one of my pickups you like the best. The obvious answer is, of course, Alf. All kidding aside, if you guys want to check out CliffsCon, again, I'll put a link down in the description. Maybe I'll see you there sometime. In the meantime, keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.